Hello everybody, this is Highlander from MTGCardsmith doing another custom Magic card review. We are continuing our review of the set Amplalo, Realm of the Colossi by Arceus8523. And here we have a card, a split transform card called Gargantuan Grave. Once again, Arceus, you have to tell me where you're getting your art, man. This art is great, like this giant skeleton. Uh, like wow, this is really cool art. Um, I mean, I see it's by Guang Yang, which I'm almost certainly pronouncing incorrectly. But anyway, moving on. Let's take a look at this card. So the front side, I believe this is the front side. I'm going to assume it is a land. This is an uncommon land. Um, you can put it. You can pay 3 to put it from your hand onto the battlefield. It enters the battlefield as this land. Not sure what that reminder text is for there. That's a little strange. I guess it's saying that like it's not the Undying Titan, but I mean it's on the land side, so I don't really know why that needs to be there, unless I'm missing something. Anyway, enters the battlefield tapped and adds black. Okay, so and let's take a look at the backside here. We've got Undying Titan, a 6 mana 5/5. You can pay 2 and sacrifice it. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, this is not a transform card. This is one of those. Okay. I think I get this. This is like the pathways, right? It's like you can play either side. I believe that's. I mean, because I don't see this as transforming. So this is presumably you can play either side. Okay, sorry. Getting back to this card. 6 mana 5/5. You can pay 2 to sacrifice another artifact or creature. An Undying Titan gains indestructible until end of turn. Tap it. Okay, so it's like kind of like regenerating it. Okay, I mean, honestly, the side that excites me a lot more is or that I find more interesting is the Gargantuan Grave. So this putting Gargantuan Grave from your hand onto the battlefield, this is actually a ramp spell for black, right? I mean, this is pretty unusual, and I don't find that to be a problem, right? Like, okay, here's what would be a problem. If you made a black card called, that was basically a rampant growth that said search the library for land and put it into play. That would be a problem, right? Because that's a green ramps. But I think finding unique ways for a color to accomplish certain things that it normally doesn't accomplish, as long as it feels black, or feels like it's the right color, I think is actually cool and something unique, and I think it's perfectly fine to put on a Magic card. So I find that to be actually pretty interesting. And you can also do this at instant speed, so you could end of turn slap this baby down. So that's pretty cool. My one issue with this is the fact that you're putting it from your hand onto the battlefield. This is not generally a black effect, right? So this kind of doesn't meet that second criteria that I was talking about. Now, where we see effects like this is green, right? Green has ways to put lands onto the battlefield from their hand. Or something like red, where red often, well, not often, but sometimes in red you'll see effects that put things into play temporarily from your hand, right? So if I were to change this card, I would make this actually from your graveyard. Where now, again, we haven't seen much of this set, right? So I can't really speak for like. There's probably no graveyard synergy, so that might not make a lot of sense in this set. Although it would work really interestingly with Undying Titan, because if Undying Titan dies, you can put Gargantuan Grave into play from your graveyard, and then look at that flavor. That'd be so perfect. That would actually be so perfect, right? If you had this Undying Titan, I mean, I guess you couldn't call it Undying Titan at that point, all right? So maybe you'd have to change the name of it, but that would be cool if you had a creature that when it died, you could put it into play as this land, and the land is the grave of the dying creature. That would be sweet. All right. Sorry, that's not how this card works, clearly, but I just got myself excited. All right, so getting back to this card, I'm not that upset about this, but I find it very cool. I don't know if it quite fits in black. That's my one concern. Again, like, I don't mind having like a ramp type effect in black, but I think it needs to be done in a black way. And I could be wrong, but you don't see a lot of effects like this, putting things from your hand on the battlefield on black. Correct me if I'm wrong. Show me some examples, right? But at least I don't think I've seen anything like that lately. But that being said, split cards like this are always very good. Land spells. You almost always want to play land spells. Like they're just good. So like you'll always play this card. And this card is better than most land spells because it actually has this ramp effect that you can that can occur. And not only that, but the creature on the other side is actually quite powerful. It's a 6-mana 5/5. I mean, this is what you want to see on a land split card, is like a land or either like a situational card or an expensive card, right? Because then it's like, oh well, if it's early you play the Grave, if it's late you play the Titan, right? So it's like if you draw your land, you actually, in the late game you get a spell to cast. So, I mean that hits the mark perfectly. I would say this is probably more powerful than you would normally see on a split card like this. I mean, the Undying Titan. So it's if you untap with it and you have other creatures in play, then Undying Titan is pretty strong. I mean, it's unkillable. It doesn't have trample or anything like that, right? So like it's not insane. Let's look at some other of these like land split cards that have sort of been made. What set was that from? Give me a second. Let me look this up. Okay, so Zendikar Rising was the set I was talking about. Okay, here are some of the uncommon land spells from Zendikar Rising. Okay, and this is to compare power level. So the front side of all of these is just a land that comes into play tapped, right? Here's a very similar card, rather in cost to Gargantuan Grave, right? This is a 4/5 trample, right? It's for 6. I mean, that's not really that good, right? Like you wouldn't be excited about playing a 4/5 trample for 6, but the fact that it's attached to a land makes it very good because it's effectively a free spell in your deck, right? You're kind of like cheating. You're kind of like cheating the land system by increasing increasing the spell density, right? That's what makes these cards so good. Not necessarily that either side is particularly powerful, because they're not. I mean, this is worse than a basic land. This is worse than pretty much any creature you'd play. But together, they make a very good card, right? I think that this card is much better than Akum Warrior, or I'm not sure if there's. See, is there like another sort of similarly costed? I don't think so. Well, there's the Wizard here, which is like a 4/3 flyer, pseudo flyer, I guess. Yeah, I mean, this card's definitely pushing the power level. I think this card could probably be a rare, right? I mean, like the 6-mana 5/5 that can sack a creature to become indestructible. It's not like amazing, but it's definitely like a real card, right? Whereas Akum Warrior is not a real card, right? But it's sort of like, you have enough mana, and you draw this guy late, and you get a free spell from your land. Not only that, but the land side is also better than all of the other lands, right? Now, there's nothing wrong with this. However, I don't think this is an uncommon power level card. I think this card should be a rare. So I would say that's my main criticism of this card. In addition to what I mentioned about the ability here. So, okay. So overall, I love the ideas here. I mean, spell lands are always great. Like, people love spell lands. I love spell lands. This like little rampy effect I think is really cool. But again, I don't think it's black, and I don't really quite understand the flavored text, or the reminder text here. Okay, so if I had to give this card a review, there are things I really like about this card, but so like I would say if this card was a rare and that ability issue on the land that I addressed was corrected, I would probably give this card a fairly high grade. I would probably give it a 4 out of 5, maybe even a 5 out of 5. But because of those two issues I mentioned, I have to give it a 3 out of 5. But I do really like this card. I think this is a really interesting design. So yeah, that's my review of Gargantuan Grave Undying Titan. Thank you for watching.